Good afternoon, America. Today is Thursday, April the 12th. It is 2:59 in the afternoon. No SS today. We have a reading coming from Deuteronomy 9. We're going to be talking about those Israelites again today. Nobody provoked them more than the Israelites coming out of Egypt. Nobody provoked God more than them. But let me take that back. Up until now, nobody used to provoke God more than the Israelites. But this generation has passed the Israelites by millenniums. Yeah. This generation is worse than the Israelites. Okay? Because now we got science, technology, man-made devices. All these things help the people to sin against God. So this generation, for the last 75 years, have been worse than the Israelites. But today, we're going to be talking about the Israelites. And Moses is the main character here, along with the people of God that he has rescued from Egypt. This particular chapter, it is Deuteronomy chapter 9, and it says, Moses reminds Israel of her wooden rebelliousness. That means her continued, constant rebelliousness against God. In this particular chapter, you have a lot of gold for prophecy, black for sin. You have a lot of brown for Satan. You have a lot of orange for your faith. You have some uppercase lettering. Actually, you don't have a lot of orange. Yes, you do. You do have some verses that have uppercase bold lettering, such as verse 12, 13, 14, and 23 have uppercase lettering in it. And I will be reading it both from my Bible as well as from this annoying New International Bible. Yes, sometimes it can annoy me. All right, let's begin. The first 5 verses are gold for prophecy. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced in up to heaven. So these nations that they were supposed to possess their land were mightier and greater in numbers than themselves. And he was reminding them that. Verse 2, a people great and tall. So not only were they great in numbers, they were also great in stature. The people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, which thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard, who can stand before the children of Anaks? Exclamation mark there. Let's see if there's an exclamation here in verse 2. Verse 3, continuing, understand therefore this day that the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee. That means God will go before you. God will walk before thee as he did in the desert when he walked before the people with a light so that they could see in the nighttime. Okay? Understand therefore this day that the Lord thy God is he which goes over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. He should do this in your face so that you can see it. So thou shalt drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord has said unto thee. For speak not thou in thy heart after that the Lord thy God has cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord has brought me in to possess this land, and for the wickedness of this nations the Lord does drive them out from before thee. So the nations that they were occupying, the nation that was occupying the space or the land that they were supposed to possess, were a wicked nation of people who knew not God. Okay. 5. Not for thy righteousness or for the upright of thy heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, and the Lord thy God does drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which the Lord swore unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So let's go here from 1 to 5. And it says, not because of Israel's righteousness. That's what it starts off with. It says, hear, O Israel, you are now about to cross the Jordan to go in and dispossess nations greater and stronger than you, with large cities that have walls up to the sky. 2. The people are strong and tall, Anakites. You know about them and have heard it said, who can stand against the Anakites? 3. But here it says, who can stand before the children of Anaks? Exclamation mark. Here it says, who can stand up against the Anakites? Question mark. Let me keep going, Father. 3. But be assured today that the Lord your God is the one who goes across ahead of you like a devouring fire. He will destroy them. He will subdue them before you, and you will drive them out and annihilate them quickly, as the Lord has promised you. 4. After the Lord your God has driven them out before you, do not say to yourselves, the Lord has brought me here to take possession of this land because of my righteousness. No, don't say that. They were too rebellious. It was not because they had right standing with God. That's what righteousness means. It means you have right standing with God. Okay? And it wasn't because of their righteousness that the Lord did this thing. Okay? No. It is an account of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord is going to drive them out before you. It is because they were wicked. Okay? 5. It is not because of your righteousness or your integrity that you are going to take possession of their land, but on account of the wickedness of these nations, the Lord your God will drive them out before you to accomplish what he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, I had a little problem there. 6, 7 is black for sin. Understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it by thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. They were a stiff-necked, rebellious people, as they are today. Remember and forget not, 7. Remember and forget not how thou provokest the Lord thy God to wrath in the wilderness. Remember how you agitated God in the wilderness. Okay? From the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt until ye came unto this place, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. From the day they stepped foot out of Egypt until that day when he was speaking to them, they had been a rebellious nation against God. Okay, let me read it from here. 6 and 7. Understand then that it is not because of your righteousness that the Lord your God is giving you this good land to possess, for you are a stiff-necked people. The golden calf. Here we go. Remember I spoke to you yesterday and we were talking about something and I mentioned Moses' anger. I mentioned that he was a humble, respectful, meek man, but he had a flaring temper. And that flaring temper would only be seen when they had sinned against God. And remember I said to you that he went up to the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, and he came down, and it sounded like there was a party going on at the bottom of the mountain, but what was going on was something that was set him on fire to the point where he dropped the stones that God had given him with the 10 commandments that God had written with his own fingers on. He dropped those stones. Okay, but he also dropped more than those stones. He dropped over 3,000 bodies in a the earth opened up where they were standing, and those that were among the people of God that were not dancing around that calf, they went to the right. Those that were dancing around that calf and refused to part from that calf, they went under, because the ground opened up and the calf and all its worshipers went under. So that was over 3,000 people. Yes, he went off. He went off. Okay. So this is the golden calf we're going to be reading about today. Remember this and never forget how you provoked the Lord your God, this is 7, to anger in the desert. From the day you left Egypt until you arrived here, you have been rebellious against the Lord. That's the same translation I just gave you. All right. So that's why that was in black. 8 to 12 is brown for Satan. Also in Horeb, ye provoked the Lord to wrath, so that the Lord was angry with you to have destroyed you. Yes, many times he came to Moses, telling Moses, I will give you a whole new crew, better than them. That's what he would say to Moses. But Moses was always too overly concerned about what the Egyptians would think. He was always too overly concerned about that. Me, myself, the first time the Lord asked me for those group, I would have said, have your way, Father. And I will sit here and wait for the new crew. Because I'm not going to forsake my blessing and to walking into that promised land for this pack of rats that you took out of Egypt. Absolutely not. 9. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tablets of stone, even the tablets of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I abided in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. So he fasted while he was up that mountain. He drank nothing. He ate nothing. Okay? So that makes him even more meaner coming down that mountain. Because if a person hasn't eaten, that's about the worst thing for them to have a flare-up. 10. And the Lord delivered unto me 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of God, and on them was written according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. That was the day that the Lord asked the people to come near him so that they could actually hear his voice. Okay? And it came to pass at the end of the 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tablets of stone, even the tablets of the covenant. Here comes the uppercase lettering I was telling you about. And the Lord said unto me, here it comes, arise, get thee down quickly from hence, for thy people which thou hast brought from. He didn't say which I have brought from. He told Moses that you have brought from Egypt. Let's read it. Arise, get thee down quickly and hence from hence. Arise, get thee down quickly from hence. For thou people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. So now we know that in a small way, Moses knew that there was something down there going on, and it wasn't a party. He already knew when he was coming down that mountain that they had been rebellious again. He already knew that they have created something, an image of some kind. He didn't know what kind of image it was. He didn't find out until he got down to the mountain and saw that it was a cow, a heifer. Okay? Let's read from 8 to 12. At Horeb, you arose the Lord's wrath so that he was angry enough to destroy you. 9. When I went up on the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant that the Lord had made with you, I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Excuse me. I ate no bread and drank no water. 10. The Lord gave me 2 stone tablets inscribed by the finger of God. On them were all the commandments the Lord proclaimed to you on the mountain out of the fire on the day of the assembly. 11. At the end of the 40 days and 40 nights, the Lord gave me the 2 stone tablets, the tablets of the covenant. Okay, 12. Then the Lord told me, go down from here at once, because your people, whom you brought out of Egypt, have become corrupt. After Moses didn't want to give the people up, because the Lord had already offered to give him a whole new crew. So the Lord started calling them his people. Your people are down there sinning. They have made an image. So he told him to quickly go down. Okay? Let's read that again. At the end of the 40 days and 40 nights, the Lord gave me the 2 stone tablets, the tablets of the covenant. 12. Then the Lord told me, go down from here at once, because your people whom you brought out of Egypt have become corrupt. They have turned away quickly from what I commanded them and have made a cast idol for themselves. So yes, he did have an idea that something terrible was going on at the bottom of that mountain. And Joshua said nothing, because Joshua went up to meet him. Joshua knew what was going on in that mountain, down the bottom of that mountain. But he also knew his master's temper. And Aaron was a weak-minded individual. He left the wrong one in charge. Sometimes you can leave the wrong person in charge and chaos will happen. He might have been an eloquent speaker, but he was a terrible leader. Okay, because a good leader will not allow you to build anything that's remotely close to an image to worship. Absolutely not. A good leader will line you up against a wall and use the sword on you before he allows you to make anything. But a weak leader will submit to your demands. Okay. 13. Let's take it from here. 13 is black, and it has uppercase lettering. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen these people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. The same thing I say today about this generation. The same thing. Believe nothing. But those mega pastors, they believe them. 14. Let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than thee. This is a split verse. This is a split verse, 14. The black part says, let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot out their names from under heaven. That's the black part. Let me have them, that I may destroy them. And then this is what I will do. This is the gold part. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than them. Remember, the Lord offered to give him a whole new crew. 15. Let's go to 13 and 14 here. And the Lord said to me, I have seen these people, and they are stiff-necked people indeed. Exclamation mark. None. 14. Let me alone so that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make you into a nation stronger and more numerous than they. This was the Lord's offer to Moses. 15, 16, and 17 is brown for Satan. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my 2 hands. So he held one in one hand, held one in the other. 16, and I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God, and had made you a molten calf. Didn't I tell you they made a heifer? And just in case for those of you who don't know what a heifer is a cow that has not given birth to a calf. Or, like Samson called his wife the heifer. It could be referred to a woman who has not had a child. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which the Lord had commanded you. This is what he's saying to them. And I took the 2 tablets and cast them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes. Yes, he did. Okay, 15 to 16 here. So I turned and went down from the mountain while it was ablaze with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my hand. 16. When I looked, I saw that you had sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourself an idol cast in the shape of a calf. You had turned aside quickly from the way that the Lord had commanded you. 17. So I took the 2 tablets and threw them out of my hand, breaking them to pieces before your eyes. 18, 19, and 20. It's orange for your faith. And I fell down before the Lord as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. He was down on his knees for them 40 days and 40 nights. Okay. I did neither eat bread nor drink water because of all your sins which ye sinned, and doing wickedly in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. 18, verse to verse. Then once again I fell prostrate before the Lord for 40 days and 40 nights. I ate no bread and drank no water because of all the sins you had committed, doing what was evil in the Lord's sight, and so provoking him. He was angry enough with you to destroy you. But again the Lord listened to me. "19. I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith the Lord was wroth against you to destroy you. But the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also." So it was not the first time that the Lord had offered to give him a whole new crew. And each time he spoke for the people. It says that here in 19. "For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith the Lord was wroth against you to destroy you. But the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also." 19, we'll read it here. "I feared the Lord and the wrath of the Lord, for he was angry enough with you to destroy you. But again the Lord listened to me." Why he kept sparing these people, I have no idea. It's incomprehensible. In the same way, it's hard to understand why you have people on death row for more than a day. 5, 10, 15 years before they are executed. That is incomprehensible. 20. "And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him, and I prayed for Aaron also the same day." Did not tell you Aaron was a weak leader. Okay. 20. "Because Aaron was left behind to watch over the sheep. And the Lord was angry enough with Aaron to destroy him, but at that time I prayed for Aaron too." Okay. We're going to stop at 21 and continue the other tomorrow. 21, which is brown for sin. "And I took your sin, the calf which ye had made, and burned it with fire, and stomped it. And the ground, it was very small, even until it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mountain." 21. Also, I took the sinful thing of yours, the calf you had made, and burned it in the fire. Then I crushed it and ground it to powder as fine as dust, and threw the dust into a stream that flowed down the mountain. Okay. That is the first 21 verses of Deuteronomy 9. We still have 8 verses left, and we will preserve those 8 verses for tomorrow if I live and nothing happens. So, whenever God waits before he does what God does best, and that's discipline his people, he always sends a warning. I always tell you that. There's always a warning sent out to the line, to tighten up, to return unto him, to repent for our sins. There's always a warning. And the warning is always prolonged. It's almost like an emergency evacuation bell that rings almost forever. He always gives us enough time. Okay? So these are the last days, America. And what does the book say about the last days? It warns us to get your house in order. That's what it says. Get your house in order. Because should we be alive when that dreadful day comes? Don't you want everybody in your household to be among those spared? Or do you want everybody in your household to be among those destroyed? Well, if you keep listening to these mega pastors, the pastors, all those that they lead, all of them will be destroyed. The Lord can take this land and nearly empty it. He can cause the land to vomit the people off the land. He can take his elder women and repopulate this earth. He can take his elder men and make them strong enough to repopulate this earth. The elders say, never play with fire, for you will get burned. Never play with fire, because you can get burned. But there's no fire more consuming than the fire of God. Let me repeat that. There is no fire more consuming than the wrath of God. Thank you very much for listening to Spiritual Water. My name is Brenda Guerrero, and as always, let the peace of God be upon thee. Let the protection of God surround you and all those you love. And let the will of God for your life come from thee. Until the next time, enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, and thank you very much for listening.